Welcome to Coach Pep Talk, the podcast for people who run their own coaching businesses. Each week, I talk to an expert who shares wisdom that helps us be better coaches and better coaching business owners. This week, I have got the lovely Michelle Adams on the line from Marvel Marketing and Clockwork Content. Now, Michelle, basically, in a nutshell, helps her ideal clients find their perfect messaging so that they can be magnets to their own ideal clients. I'm totally paraphrasing here, but the thing that really attracted me to Michelle before I even knew what a whiz she was in marketing is we're in the same coaching group, and just listening to the stuff that she brings to those meetings is just phenomenal. How much she's into conscious living, and that's the kind of person I am, and that's the kind of people I want to work with, and that's the kind of people I want to bring to you guys. So that is really why Michelle's here, and it just so happens that she's a marketing genius, and I am working on my marketing strategy, and we just started talking about it just a little bit in one of our follow-up calls, and it was so clear that she has this magic formula that really makes marketing really easy, and it's totally applicable to coaching business owners. So I was like, oh my gosh, let's get Michelle on the line and learn this amazing formula. So Michelle, thanks so much for coming on and being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Benet. I'm so super excited to be here and just share the marketing formula that I've developed for your listeners today, because there's so many gold nuggets in the content that I'm sharing that's given my clients some massive aha moments and clarity. So I really hope that can offer that to you and your clients today.
Okay, and just in advance, everyone, I'm probably going to be taking heaps of notes. So if my head is down most of the time, it's just because I'm taking notes just as much as you guys are. So grab a pen and paper because we're off. So Michelle, I'd love for you to tell us a little bit. What really struck me when we first met was how you transitioned from this big, super corporate executive life into the work that you're doing now. And I know that a lot of our audience have done that similar kind of transition. So I was just wondering if you could share a little bit of that experience, and then we'll get into the formula.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, on a professional level, I have had 20 years experience in sales and marketing. And, on that executive level, when you're working in corporate, certainly in marketing, you're busy promoting that brand and you're selling that brand. And I had no problem getting up in front of, sometimes thousands of people at a time promoting that brand that I represented. And so when I transitioned out of corporate to starting my own business and following my own formula that I developed, the biggest challenge for me was actually turning that lens on myself. And it's one thing to represent a brand and talk about a brand and a company, but when you have to talk about yourself, it was so intimidating. And there was just the discovery that I learned from that I now help my clients with was the biggest transition that I experienced and the biggest challenge.
Yeah, I'm sure so many of our audience can relate to that, like nod, or you can even leave a comment if you can totally relate to that it's kind of easy to look outside and give feedback, but when it comes within, that's kind of the harder work to do. So, and I know I've definitely see that. I can look at my coaching clients and then, it's obvious what they should do. I look at myself.
You know what else? It's the budget. You go from having these big budgets that you can spend on marketing and you're starting a business and it's just a one-man band, and you don't have, one, the resources that you can lean on that you're used to having, and two, the budget to spend on what you want. And so you really have to really drill down and clearly articulate what it is that you're trying to achieve, because you just don't have that same budget and bank account to fall back on.
Right. Okay. And given that, a lot of us probably don't have these massive marketing budgets, I'm guessing that this new strategy that we're going to learn is going to be something that we can do with very little budget. Am I on that right track?
Absolutely. This is the exciting thing about it. You really don't need a big marketing budget to spend. It's just, if you follow this simple formula, you really can attract the clients that you want to attract. You can build trust, and when you follow the formula and you do it correctly, you'll have your ideal clients wanting to do business with you. You don't even have to ask for the sale. So I've come across so many amazing, products and services that go nowhere, or they're stuck because they haven't developed a marketing strategy to help them reach their business goals. And so it really doesn't matter whether you're a one-man band or a large national, enterprise. Every business needs a clearly defined strategy, marketing strategy to reach their goals. And I love Robert Kiyosaki's quote. I heard him say this live at an event a few years ago, and he says, marketing is the engine of your business and sales is the fuel. And I love that because it's so true. You can have an amazing product or service that you offer, but unless you've got a plan on how you can reach and share that with your ideal audience, then unfortunately, we just don't go anywhere.
Yeah. You've touched on something. Maybe you'll repeat that again. So let's just get really clear. So imagine that I know absolutely nothing about business, nothing about marketing, and you're telling me what a marketing strategy is. How would you define that? What is a marketing strategy?
Yeah, so in basic terms, it's really a marketing strategy is essential to the success of a business in order for you to share your product or service with your target market. So a good marketing strategy ensures that you connect with your ideal clients and educate them on why your product or service is better than or different from your competition. And, when you get it right, your ideal clients will be asking to do business with you, not the other way around.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yeah, I think so. So what I heard then is a marketing strategy, it's essential to your success. And it defines, I suppose, how you're going to connect to your ideal clients and how you're going to educate them on your product so that they just want to buy from you.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we go through the formula, more of it will make sense. But ideally, what we need to do is we need to build trust with our audience. And so, the benefits of having a clearly defined marketing strategy is that, in the age of distraction that we're in today, how on earth can we get our ideal customers to pay attention to what we have to offer? More and more people are stepping into that entrepreneurial space, and it's getting harder to get eyeballs on your content. And in fact, I was just talking to someone this morning about this, and it used to be 7 times it takes for someone to see your product to make a purchase decision. It's now 12 to 13 times.
Oh, wow.
And they say by the year 2020, it's going to be more like 20 times. So it is getting more and more difficult to get your content and attract your ideal customers. So that's why it's really important that we have a marketing strategy and a plan to guide us along the way.
Yeah. That's fascinating, that shift. I had no idea. I thought it was still the 8 touch points and then, you got your sale. Wow.
Yeah, we reached.
That's crazy. Okay. So, I think we've covered, really why somebody needs one. One thing I want to cover off on, in my audience, we've got some coaches who've been coaching for a long time and they've got quite bedded in businesses, and some people that are just starting. Do you think that, and some don't even have a niche yet. So given that range, do they all need a marketing strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't matter what size business you are or how long you've been in business. This you can pick this up, anytime, and I definitely recommend that you do this sooner rather than later, because the formula works, for any business, and especially well for coaches. So, and if you're starting out, you may not have your niche yet, and that's fine. Just follow the steps and take the action, and your niche will appear soon enough.
I love that. And that's something that kind of an underpinning philosophy that I've noticed in my years of working with coaches is how powerful just momentum is, and just putting one step in front of the other. Like, you may not have all the clarity and I know exactly what I'm doing kind of feeling, but just that movement helps you uncover things. And, maybe you'll need to pivot. You don't need to know all the answers right now. You just need to start some movement.
And I can totally relate to that, because I felt that, when I started my business, a few years ago, it was just, I knew these things. I was like, everyone says you need to niche, you didn't need to be really clear on your purpose, and all of these things were just so overwhelming. And so I I didn't know really who I was serving, who I wanted to serve. And so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to take the steps. I'm just going to throw it in the air, take the steps. And it just really just revealed itself so beautifully by me taking action. And now I know my niche, I know who I'm serving, and that clarity is just so powerful.
Yeah,
so
priceless.
You don't have to know your niche, but there's some steps that we'll cover today that will help you discover that a little easier, which I'm super excited for.
I'm sure that everybody is ready for me to just stop talking. Let's just get into those steps. So let's get into it. What's this magic formula? How can we do this for our coaching business?
Well, the thing is that, I see so many businesses that try marketing. They spend money on a flashy website. They post content that they think is relevant. They try Facebook advertising, and it just hasn't delivered the results that they'd hoped. And they often just throw their hands in the air and say, oh, well, I tried that, it just didn't work for me. But, here's the thing, digital marketing used to just be a numbers game, but now it's also about personality and connection. You have to speak your ideal client's language. You have to be really clear as to who you want to talk to, and you've got to get their attention and build trust. So, that's where a clearly defined marketing strategy that builds an audience of your ideal clients, and not your family and friends or a fan club who will never buy from you. It's really all about getting clear and clarity. So the first step that I like to sort of work through is really, and this is so much fun, is creating, so it's step one, it's creating a vision, mission, value statement. So if you haven't already done this for your business, it's an absolute game changer. It doesn't matter, like we said, whether you're a one-man band or a CEO of a large corporation, you are the CEO of your business. And so we need to think like the CEO of our business. So create two things, the vision, mission, value statement, and the second is a purpose statement. And you'll end up using this through your marketing. So you might think, oh, what's that got to do with marketing? And it is very relevant because it gives you a real clarity around what your unique value is that you offer. I'll just give you a quick guide as to what some people might not know, what a vision, mission, value statement is and how to create that. A vision is basically a dream of where you want to be. So it's the honourable purpose that would make you and others proud. It's got to be clear and precise. It's where you want to go with your business, your big picture vision, and short and sweet. You don't want it to be too long.
How short should it be?
Just a one-liner.
One line.
Just a one-liner, ideally.
Can you give us an example of like a really good vision statement?
Yeah. So a perfect example of one that I did the other day on another business that I'm working on is to basically help businesses change the way they look at customer service and create customer service or excellence in customer service, a global impact on customer service. So it can be big and juicy and really, really clear and precise,
Wow.
but short and sweet, really
so
powerful.
This company,
when you say it, it just gets your juices going. You're really excited and
my juices are already going. That came out funny.
So a global impact on customer service and how businesses.
I love it. Yeah. So I know in my business, when I realized that Universal Coaching Systems is kind of like an advocacy company for coaches. Like we look at what's happening in the market, we look at the trends, and then we look at products that are relevant to help the change that's coming. So to really support that group. And once I had that, it was like, I knew what I needed to do. But yeah, before I went kind of global and kind of what difference can I make in the world, the game was really different. And it wasn't it's like, I'm so inspired to wake up and work on my business every single day. Cause how cool is that to do that every morning?
Yeah. And that's where it really aligns with your purpose and your values. So that clarity that you can get, then again, it just helps support that. You then identify, it helps you clarity around who you want to target, who your ideal customer is, what your niche is. So this is step one, is really powerful and so much fun, and it really just aligns with why you're doing what you're doing. You know, why you love your business so much.
Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about vision, but there's still some other stuff in step one. So we better get going.
Yeah. So look, let's just we can always, you know, come back to that a little bit later if we have time. But your purpose statement is a little bit similar to your vision, but it's your big picture. So it's what you want to achieve, and so using your purpose statement is great to use throughout your content. It might be your tagline as an example, just a short, powerful sentence that conveys your brand's essence. If that makes sense.
Yeah. What, and do you have a good example of that?
Yes. Let me find it. I should know what it is, shouldn't I?
I'll put you on the spot.
You are putting me on the spot.
And while I don't know if you can, I can't actually answer questions and look for things at the same time, but I'm going to ask a question anyway. Is the vision mission the same statement, or are those different?
Are the vision, mission, value statement different to your purpose statement?
Sorry, is the vision, mission, value statement one statement? Or
it's
is
one
it
statement.
One? Okay,
yeah,
okay.
one
It's
statement.
got so many words in it. I just wanted to clarify. Cool.
Yeah. So, so here's an example of one. Again, it's the business that I'm also working on as well at the moment, and it's helping businesses to foster excellence in customer service, one review at a time.
Right.
So it's helping businesses with their online reputation.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a great heading for a website. So think of that as your headline for your website, your purpose statement. What do you do? What's the solution that you offer?
Yeah, great. Okay.
So step number 2 is to map your sales funnel. And this can often feel a bit overwhelming, so I'm just going to keep it really simple. You know, I'd normally draw this on a whiteboard, so I'll just try and explain it as best I can, you know, for our listeners, and hopefully they can visualize it. But think of a funnel, and an actual plastic lab funnel with the wide top and then the narrow base. And, you know, at the top we've got what we call cold traffic coming into the top of our funnel. So this is where we're starting. We're starting with a cold audience. And our priority here with this cold audience is to build trust. The best way to do this online is, as an example, is to give your ideal audience value. You know, help your ideal clients solve their problem. They're often problem unaware. So to build trust and build rapport with that cold audience, it's give them value. So cold traffic are at the top of your funnel. You know, and I have a lot of clients that say, oh, I don't want to give away my secrets, or that's what they pay for. But, you know, how well is that working for you really? So yeah. I really challenge that, because people aren't necessarily working with you for your content. They're working with you because of you, the solution that you provide and what you bring. It's not the content. Content's great and it's powerful, yes, and obviously it has lasting changes, but they buy from you because of you, not because of what you're selling.
Mm. Yeah,
So
I want to just add on to that. I recorded another interview last week, and with one of my favorite marketing gurus as well, Marlon Marusha, and he was talking about people don't buy you. They don't buy your content. They're buying you to help them with the execution. And I loved that. Like, they want that guide, that support, which is exactly, they're buying you as, yes, I trust this person. They're going to hold my hand. They know their stuff because they've given me so much value already. So I love how that just complements each other.
Yeah, and most people do want someone to hold their hand. They don't want to do it on their own, and that's where you can support. You're the guide that you help them through that journey. And so, you know, once you've built trust, they move down the funnel and they become warm traffic. And so they're now warmed up to you, they trust you, and they're interested in what you have to say. They feel connected with you, and this is where you become an influencer. And that phase is called solution aware. And so this is where you want to disrupt their thought patterns and be, like we said, be the guide in their story and be authentic. And so when you've built trust and connection, you're now seen by your ideal clients and your target audience as an influencer in their eyes, because you've been speaking their language. you've been speaking directly to your ideal client, and they're now hot traffic, and you're ready to tell them about your offer. So they become product aware. And this is where you give them a call to action, because you need to tell them what to do, and you close them on your offer. And, you know, like I said before, if you follow this formula to the T, 9 times out of 10, you'll find that your ideal customers will be asking to do business with you before you even need to ask for sale.
Right.
And so, you know, one of the questions I think you had mentioned earlier was, you know, timing. You know, what ideally does a sales funnel or your marketing strategy look like in terms of from start to finish? And I always like that 90 days timeline. And when you're starting this from scratch. And so you would continue with this throughout your business, and just revisit it, you know, every 90 days and check in. If you've got an audience of your ideal clients already, then this can be a little bit less because you've already warmed up your audience. But the phase cold to warm to hot traffic is, you know, the cold to warm is the most important in the funnel. And so what you might find is that, you know, you might go back and just revisit, you know, some of the steps just to get, you know, am I still talking to that same ideal customer? Is the language the same? Is there anything I need to tweak? And then you might give it a break because you've got so much, it's been so successful that it's worked and you've got all these clients coming in. You might just give it a break for 90 days and then start again when you need to fire it back up.
Yeah. So can you talk a little bit about, or maybe it's coming in some of the later steps, but are we going to go into any more detail into how you actually get people from cold to warm to hot? Or is that our next interview on content plan?
No. Yeah, no, I've got lots of content still to come for you on this one.
Great. So, okay, I'm dying to know. How do we do it? Sounds amazing.
So step 3 is to create your product's value ladder. So most of you have probably heard of a value ladder before. This is really the business, I guess, side of the marketing strategy. And then we'll get into more of the juicies. But in basic terms, you know, a value ladder is basically a method of mapping out your product or service offering, you know, visually an ascending order of value and price. So if you think of a ladder, you know, up steps of a ladder, the value level increases, as does the cost to work with you. So write down what services you sell and your different pricing structures. When you think of that set of stairs, at the bottom of the stairs, you know, you're talking to your cold traffic. They're at the top of your sales funnel. So what are you offering your audience for free to bring them into your funnel? So this can be a video series, you know, a mini course, a webinar, an ebook, a PDF, a quiz, whatever it might be. There's lots of different tools that you can use, you know, as a lead magnet. The strategy that I use for my own business is content across my social channels, with marketing tips, adding lots of value. And then I add a call. This is a really good little kind of throw-in tip and something that works really well, that a strategy that I use. And so I add a call to action at the end of my videos that offers a free cheat sheet. So if you haven't had a pen or paper handy during this video, I'd love to share it with you. I've created a cheat sheet. Drop me a comment below and I'll send it straight over to you. By dropping a comment below, it's getting them to take action. 2, you're also getting more organic reach thanks to the algorithm because they're commenting. So it's then being seen by the people that are following them. And the amount of calls and direct messages that I get from people who've seen those videos, even at this very early stage of the funnel, is really quite astounding. And so sometimes they don't even place a comment. It might just be they'll send me a direct message or pick up the phone and ring and go, "I love that video. Can I work with you?" That's a really hot tip, when it comes to some content.
I have a question about that. So, I mean, that's quite a manual process for you. Or like, how much time does that take you, I guess, on average a week, just to respond to everybody who says yes?
I try and schedule time 3 or 4 times throughout the day. So I'll do it in the morning after I've done my morning routine with my meditation and coffee. And I'll go, okay, I'm ready for 15 minutes of social media. And then during the day, and then sort of mid-afternoon, and then, 15 minutes at night if I have the time. So I really do try and limit it because it can get so time consuming being on social media, and the distractions are the biggest thing because, you start looking through your feed.
Yeah, you're like, oh.
Yeah. And so that's really helped me, right? You literally have it in my calendar and it's scheduled. Okay, this is my time to respond. I already have that cheat sheet prepared and ready. I've done it in Canva. It's a PDF. I've got it ready to go. And quite often it's the same PDF that I use in a number of different videos. Yeah. And it always has a call to action at the end of that cheat sheet that gets them to take some action and an opportunity to work with me.
So, and is that call, I'm curious about that. We were having this call in my Coach Springboard mentoring group last night. So, and it was how you link your content to your call to actions and how you level your call to actions through those different touch points. So your video had message me or comment below and I'll send this to you. So they're not even going to an opt-in, which is fascinating. So then you're directly sending it to them and then they open that thing and then it says like, book a call with me, or what's your call to action usually in your freebie?
It's book a strategy session.
And is that free or paid?
Paid. Yeah.
Paid. Okay.
So I do offer a 15-minute free call. And that also gives me the opportunity to interview them and see if I want to work with them, vice versa. And that's when I then tell them, okay, the next step, if you'd like to take this further, is, what is basically a strategy session where we can get really clear on your marketing strategy and how it's bespoke, customized for your business.
Cool.
And so that PDF with your call to action basically is giving them links on how to do that. And the thing is though, I'm not against email opt-ins, but honestly, my inbox I get so overwhelmed with emails, and you've got all these things that you've subscribed to over the years. I literally emailed detoxed a couple of months ago and just unsubscribed from everything that was no longer serving me. And I felt so good. We're just so bombarded with things now that, Messenger is definitely the new chat platform that I love communicating with people on Messenger because it's personal. It's not invasive, and it works really effectively for me.
Yeah, I'm very curious. I've been using Messenger just kind of organically, not really strategically, but it's huge. Like you can just close clients really easily if you're in the, it's amazing. Yeah. Anyway, we may have time to talk more about that, but we're only on step 3.
I know.
So
okay.
we've got our value ladder. We've got the free thing that gets them into a 15-minute conversation that sells them into a strategy call in your situation. But I guess that's the thing, is people need to map out what is that step.
Yeah, so if you think about coaches, this might be an event or a workshop that you want to run, whether it's free or, $57 or whatever it might be to get, your cold traffic into a room. Once you've built that trust and you've got, warm traffic, you're moving them, you're stepping up on your value ladder down your sales funnel, and you can pitch your next product. So if you've got a group of people at an event in your audience, you might want to talk to them or pitch them about your retreat or your group coaching. You don't just go straight to that high ticket item. So your high ticket item for coaches might be that one-on-one coaching for 12 months as an example. And the mistake that I see a lot of coaches make is that they're pitching their high ticket item too soon. So really remember that funnel and your cold, warm and hot traffic and that journey to purchase.
Okay. So like a mindset question that coaches could always ask themselves would be like, who is on this channel? Like, what about, let's say Instagram, for example, you might have hot, cold, and hot, warm, and cold traffic on there. How do you play that?
Yeah, look, it really just depends on what you're using that channel for. So Instagram, it's actually my favorite channel. I love Instagram because it's so visual. People really want to. It's a great way to show people who you are, and make your brand, that personal connection. So it's a really great way to build trust. So you can do that with images, inspiration, motivation, education. Instagram TV is awesome for sharing, longer videos And again, you're building that audience, doesn't matter what level they're at, to then get them to take action. So every post, every video, you're building your tribe until you're ready to launch your product. And then guess what? I've got an event coming up. I'd love to invite you, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
So step number 4 is know your numbers. So when you've mapped out your funnel and you've got your value ladder, you need to be really clear about how many clients you want and your cost to get those clients. And so I like to start from the top and work down your value ladder. So how many one-on-one clients do you want or can you manage? And then work down from that. And calculate your anticipated close ratio. So if you're running a workshop with an event for 50 people, how many people do you need to take action and open their wallets to take it to the next step on your value ladder? And then what's it costing you to generate those leads?
Okay.
Step number 5. Sorry, did you have...
There's a lot in that one.
Yeah, there is.
I can see. I don't know if anybody was like me, but it was like,
Look, numbers is one of those things, especially, for us, the people that are creative, you're visionary. You want to work on your business, and not in your business sometimes. And so, but you really do need to get clear, because at the end of the day, it's the effect that you could have, the negative effect that you can have if you've got too many people that really want to work with you and you don't have time for them, can be quite damaging to your brand. So when you're following this strategy, it's really important to go, okay, have an idea in your head of how many one-on-one clients am I really aiming for as your end outcome. Mm-hmm. And then from there, you can work back, okay, so in my group coaching, how many people do I want in that product? Then my event, how many people do I need at my event? What's my close ratio to get that number to the group coaching? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And then I guess people are likely to be, the event's big, the group is a little bit smaller, and then your one-on-ones are even smaller. And then there's a percentage at each point that you can sort of start to predict how many people you need in each to close that. What if you don't run events? What if you're like an online coach?
It doesn't matter whether it's an event or it's a, for me, I'm in the middle of working on a free video series. So that's my, I work one-on-one with clients at the moment, and I want to reach more people. I can see the impact that the clarity that my clients get from our strategy session and mapping these steps out with them. And so I want to offer that to more people. Mm-hmm. So the free video series that I'm doing is basically giving them these steps for free. And then from there, I'm then going to be selling them into a course that I'm going to be running online, 7 to 8 week course where I hold their hand. It's a live course and we work through these steps each week. Mm-hmm. So that's my value ladder. And then ultimately I have one-on-one clients that I work with. But you can only work with so many people, right? Because you've only got so many times. So how can you reach that, me to many people as opposed to one-on-one?
Yeah. I know my big takeaway from that really is to start from the top. How many one-on-ones, and then sort out your numbers, start from that point. So if you only want to work with 10 or you only want to work with 6, that's going to be a big difference if you want to work with 50 or 20.
And imagine you've got that number of clients now and your calendar really, you don't want to end up where you're working 80 hours a week. We've all been there, right? No. So the whole point we're in business is to have this amazing work-life balance. So how many clients do you really want to work with? So that's where it's really important to know your numbers.
Great. Okay. All right. Step 5. Define
your ideal client. And so, this is also referred to as a customer avatar or a persona. And it's the most important steps of all. And, and I know this because I've been through this journey myself. And this is also where you find your niche. So it really defines who you serve and who you want to serve. So the best exercise for this one is to create a list of your ideal client. And, my coach taught me this, Clockwork, who he's so amazing. He said, who's your list? And I said, well, I've got my list. And so he says, okay, well, give me something on your list. And so I said to him, they want to have an impact and share their services with the world. And he goes, oh, well, that's great. So, you know, is that a, you know, is that a, who is that? Like, what do they do? What are they, you know, do they pay you on time? Like, be really, really specific. And this has been a game changer for me in my business. And always refining that list. And I'm sure you can relate too, Benet, because if you're not clear on who you're serving, you know, we've all heard that phrase, you know, if you market to everybody, you market to no one. You really need to be really clear on who it is that you're talking to. And so if you've not been in business for very long, you know, just think about who it is that you want to work with. Who are your favorite people? What are their wants, fears, and desires? You know, what are their pain points and their struggles? Be really specific. Their values, as an example. And then who are they? You know, are they male, female? What age? You know, some demographic stuff. What do they do for work, as an example? So imagine, you know, if you're just starting out and this is new to you, then imagine you're creating a new Facebook profile for them. You know, who do they follow? What types of pictures do they post? Are they, you know, a single mum? Are they, you know, are they stuck in corporate and want to start their own business and feeling lost, not sure how to have the courage to take that first step, whatever it might be? Because this, once you're really clear on this process, it honestly, everything just starts to fall into place. Your content becomes targeted to that person, and this just makes this whole formula work magic.
Yeah. And I just want to throw that in because I love how you mentioned, you know, Keurig's thing of make a list. Like, what are the characteristics? And guys, I mean, because we're all coaches. So, you know, a lot of times if you're looking for your ideal partner, you'll make your ideal partner wish list. And this list it's very similar, like you're trying to attract your ideal partner. You know, in love with life relationship. You can do the exact same thing for your ideal client. And I think that can take some of the pressure, some of the stigma, some of the this is business work out of the process and make it a whole lot more fun and playful. And you might be really surprised about what kind of new things come up when you're not so focused on avatar or persona, because it sounds so technical. So I always like it when we can, you know, put some fun in there, or maybe, you know, go sit at your kitchen table, get away from your computer, don't type it, write it, you know.
Yeah. Like, and how amazing is it? These people just start showing up.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's incredible. And it doesn't matter, you know, whether it's, you know, it's a partner, it's a client, it's your perfect house, you know, that you want to design. Get really clear on what it is, you know, your vision on what that looks like. So and that's super fun, that one.
Start showing. Okay, that's re-inspired me. I'm actually writing some avatars. Oh, so that comes to my other question. Do you just have one? Can you have many?
Yeah, so, you know, you might have different product types or you might have more than one business. So you can have, you know, as many avatars in your business or ideal clients as what you want that suit those products. But yeah, so same exercise. You can still, you just tailor your content and your message to that avatar.
I would like to just touch on that a little bit more because, you know, I work with a lot of new coaches starting out, and, you know, I could imagine that if they have 3 avatars that they're trying to serve and they're quite different, then that could be really confusing because we get them to work on their signature program first and pilot that, road test it with a specific type of person. I'm just curious to hear what your advice would be on that. Like, if you really are a newbie and you don't have, you know, your whole value things structured, you're just kind of stepping into your niche for the first time.
So for me personally, with my business, I have 2 avatars.
Yeah.
One is entrepreneurs who are just starting out in business or who are stuck with their marketing. So smaller businesses or one-man bands. And then I work with large corporates. So it's massive difference in both of those completely different customers. So my corporates are my one-on-one clients where I'm working with them strategically. And then my smaller businesses is more of a bespoke 90-day marketing program that I offer and strategy sessions. And so then when I'm talking to that client, you know, Instagram's perfect for that audience. My corporates aren't necessarily on, my CEOs aren't following me on Instagram.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Did you want to say something else on that? Because I have another question. Because like, and I'm just, it sounds like from what you've just explained, your coaching, your signature program for each of those two different clients is quite different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, so I have a different, I have a different value ladder as an example.
Yeah.
I have a different sales funnel. So this strategy really is based around your ideal client. It can vary. Follow the strategy for each client type that you're offering.
Yeah.
And so LinkedIn is perfect for me for corporate. That's where I speak corporate, and I'm attracting my corporate clients.
Okay, so it's like you're using this formula for both of them, but separately.
Absolutely.
They each have their own. So I want everybody to hear that, especially if you're just starting out, and keep your life simple. You know, you can always expand later after you've nailed the first one. Okay.
And you're fine by taking the action. When I first started, I was taking on every client I could. I ended up with all these different industries and different size companies, and it was just so overwhelming. So just by taking that step and working with different people, I then got really clear on who I wanted to work with and who I could serve best.
Yeah, great. Okay, anything else on step 5?
No, let's go to step 6. So step 6 is, what problem do you solve for your ideal client? So if you can't identify what internal problem that you solve, and I just did a video on this week. If you can't identify what internal problem that you solve for your customer, you must start there. People aren't motivated to solve an external problem. They're only motivated to solve that problem because of how that problem makes them feel. So if they don't feel frustrated about that problem, then you'll never sell them anything. You really need to have clarity before you get started on what problem that you solve. So how does that problem make them feel? Why are they frustrated? How can you help solve that problem? And what are the solutions that you offer?
Okay, that's a big step.
And
Awesome.
that's when, again, you use that in your content. That's your headlines, in your video posts. There's a structure to the video posts that works really well around that. Always start with the problem. And this actually goes into content, which is step number 7. So I'll just keep going with that if you're happy with that, Renee. Yeah. So creating content, you need to create content that builds trust and provides value and earn the right to sell. And so we touched on this earlier. And I've got some great content that I'll share, content that we'll share maybe in another podcast, and it's absolute gold because it gives my clients back hours in their day and saves them frustrations of constantly coming up with, what am I going to post today? But basically, in essence, what I cover is that milliseconds is all you have to get someone's attention online. And so if you aren't speaking their language and talking to their pain points to help them solve their problem, then they're gone. And so 7 seconds is what it takes to make a first impression when you meet someone face to face. But online, people are flicking through that feed pretty quickly. Yeah, you've literally got milliseconds. So, the mistake that I see a lot of businesses make is they go into this, they talk about themselves in, I've been doing this for 20 odd years. I mean, I could do that. I've been in sales and marketing for 20 odd years. I've got lots of experience. I help businesses with this and that. People don't care. Yeah. They really don't. Our brains use 80% of our body's calories. And so it's wired to conserve energy and keep us safe. And so, when you meet someone, they immediately ask themselves, am I in danger? And can this person make my life better? So don't make it about you. People don't care how long you've been in business and what you had for breakfast. You are not the hero of the story. They are. So wait until you've built rapport and trust before you start talking about what you offer. And keep it simple. Don't play that hero, play the guide. Stop telling your story. This is not the time to tell your story, and start inviting people into their story by talking to their pain points and identifying. They go, oh yeah, I feel that. She gets me. And then you can talk to them about how you can solve that problem. And video is so good for this. If you're not doing video content, it really should form part of your content strategy to attract your ideal clients, because it not only helps get eyeballs on your content, it's just such a great way to build connection and trust as a coach.
Yeah, definitely. I've been getting into video more this year.
I love
And
your videos.
yeah,
Awesome.
they're so exciting. Well, I'm thinking like, oh gosh, I have to go through those. Are they really, am I being the guide? Am I putting myself as the hero? So I can't wait till that content interview that we do.
Yeah.
But on that, guys, like, look, if you have been telling, you as the center of the universe kind of story, and sometimes you'll get it right, sometimes you'll get it wrong. It's okay. Like, just keep posting, keep trying, because you're developing and expanding your conscious awareness on, becoming really good at this. And I don't, Michelle, you can correct me if you've seen it, if I'm wrong here, but like, it's not like you're just going to be perfect at all social media tomorrow because of one, interview I've listened to. Like, it takes time, and it might even take a year to kind of get that posting pattern right. Like in the messaging and the.
It's taken me years of,
Okay.
really, the journey for me, really took me 2 years to really nail this. And so I've been there. I've totally been there, and I've got it wrong. And so that's why I'm giving so much value, and I want to share this with you and your audience, because this is a game changer for your business.
Yeah, totally. I'm starting to feel it. Like, I get a lot of really great feedback because I started posting in this year, so 2019, and just posting videos. And I'm just like, I'm just going to post one a week. I'm not going to be too hard on myself, and I'm just going to learn. And some of them are going to be shit, and some of them are going to be great, and some of them are going to be flat. And it's great because just by doing it, I'm learning a lot about what is resonating with my audience, what people comment on, and so on. So it's just a learning process, and I'm not beating myself up, and I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just trying to get out there and learn.
Yeah, and we can be so hard on ourselves. We judge ourselves, or don't wait until it's perfect. You know what? Just take that first step, because until you start practicing and you start doing this, you won't get good at it. So you really do just need to take the first step. But people love sharing that journey with you, because then you become relatable. If you just start with this super professional, video that looks like you've spent thousands of dollars on it, no one's going to relate to that, because they think, well, I don't have the budget for that. Yeah. So yeah, it's often the clumsy, most simple videos that you're doing, holding yourself with your selfie stick or whatever it might be, that get the most engagement.
Mm-hmm. It's fascinating. Like, one of my most popular videos on Instagram is, it was raining. I asked my 8-year-old daughter and I went for a walk and with the dog, and I'm like, I'm going to spin in the circle in the rain. She kept saying of me. Like, I don't know. I think I tried to put some philosophical message with it. I don't remember. But that's the most viewed one. I'm like, yeah, that and funny cat videos. Like, where am I going wrong here? I'm trying to be too intellectual.
Yeah. But, when it comes to videos, if you follow this formula, talk to the pain points, be relatable and authentic. And so, because we're time poor, as people are scrolling through these feeds, I see this time and time again, and again, some people just don't understand, how to get the best out of their videos. But, they're so busy on their Facebook lives. I've got to do a live every day, and they get on and they wait for a couple of minutes until people join, and they're saying hi to Kathy, Bob, Tim, Fred. Really? Like, I've literally got 30 seconds. What's your message? How are you going to help me solve my problem? And now I'm interested.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. All right.
So,
how many more steps do we have?
Last one.
Okay.
Step
number 8.
How are we going for time? Oh, okay. So become an influencer. So the word influencer is, thrown around these days quite a bit. And I'm sure, you've seen the posts about, hashtag influencer life all over social media. And look, not taking away from those who have created a fortune from it, but influence is not about good luck, timing, or magic. There's a strategy behind building your influence, and anyone can do it. You can do it too. So what type of influence do I mean? And it's not about having the most followers, and it's not about inflated social profiles. It's not about faking it. You can be an influencer without needing to be a size 6 and in your 20s with 1 million followers. And how you do this is growing a community of people who genuinely trust you, because you've given them value and you've shown up for them time and time again. So this is really supporting the steps that we've already covered. And so how do you become build a community and become an influencer. It's what's the game changer is that what you offer your customers. It's you. So how can you disrupt and challenge people's current way of thinking? Be a disruptor. It's changing. It's a bit of a paradigm shift for them. So doing this will mean that some people will be for you and some people will be against you. Don't fear that. Embrace that, because it's great. It means that we're drilling down to speak to the ideal customers that we want to reach and finding our niche. So as an example, you might be a life coach, and you might be taking a stand against coaches that continue to talk about people's blocks, their past stories and what's broken with them, instead of talking about, forward thinking, helping them vision who they want to be. So that's being disruptive in a sense, and you're becoming people are inspired by that. They're thinking, oh, I like that. I don't want to talk about my stories or what's wrong with me. I want to talk about who I want to be and that person that I want to be. So when you break down those disruptive beliefs for your audience, it's a massive paradigm shift for them. You change the way they're looking at things, and you create real credibility and influence to build that audience of your target market who begin to know, like, and trust you.
Yeah.
And you can bring your own story of struggle into this and how you took that journey and being relatable. And this inspires and motivates your audience and establishes trust. And your third-party stories are also really important too, which help with social proof.
That's great. I love that disruptor thing. It's really good. Something that has come up for me in this year is just to really go with, you don't need to create a multi-million-dollar coaching business, everyone. Like, you can build a happy lifestyle business as a coach and, work 20 hours a week and, just have a really good, happy income. And I think that's something that, I've been toying around with, like, can I be brave enough to say that? Because that's not what all the gurus are going for. And, so that's great to hear you say that.
And the thing is too, with your content, you don't have to be posting a video or a Facebook Live every single day. If you're following this formula and you've got a real clear message, you're clear on who you're talking to and what your message is, you can do it twice a week and still have the same result.
Yeah,
it
cool.
really doesn't. So that's where it just gives you so much time back, and that pressure is just feels so good to have clarity around that.
I love it. Okay, so I'd love for us to get some feedback from some of the insights or from listeners. So Michelle, what question would you love for people to respond to, in whatever channel they're viewing or listening to this interview?
It'd be great to see some comments on what you think is the internal problem that you solve for your ideal client. And this isn't an exercise. So by doing this and sharing it with us, it's going to help you with this step in this, if you follow this strategy. So yeah, share with us, what internal problem do you think you solve for your client? How does that make them feel? And we'll do our best to reply and respond to each comment.
I can't wait to see, and throw in there too what country you're listening from, because I always love it when I put it out to my audience where you're from. We get people from everywhere and it's so cool. All right, Michelle, thank you so much for your time today. If people want to learn more about you and maybe grab that, is it a cheat sheet or was it a video series? How can they get a hold of that?
Yeah, so I've designed a PDF for you, especially for your audience today, that covers everything that we talked about. So you can download that from my website, which is just michelleadams.co, just .co, or I'm sure you can pop it in the show notes for your listeners.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And yeah, I'll have the free video series also available. I would love to share that with them as well. So you're welcome. You'll be able to find that on my website too, to watch that.
Okay.
And follow me on Facebook for some marketing tips, and drop me some comments and share with me, your journey. And it's been great talking to you. Thank you for the opportunity. I really hope that your audience has got some great value out of this today. And look forward to supporting any way I can.
Yes, I look forward to having you back because we're going to do another interview next week, and that's going to be all about putting together your content plan. So something I'm also super keen and interested in. So look out for that. All right, everyone, thanks so much for your time and attention today. Please go and like the show on whatever channel you're watching it on, and we'll see you next time. Happy coaching.